Hello cousins! Are you a fan of Dominican Pudin de Pan or Budin de Pan? Let me tell you about my recipe. I merged two different styles and it drives the crowd wild every single time. Let me show you how I make it. I'm going to start by making my caramel base, and this is just 1 cup of sugar mixed with half a cup of water going on medium-high heat until the sugar becomes a dark amber color and it thickens. Once that's done, I'm going to pour this on my pan that I'm going to be baking the pudin de pan in, and I'm going to set it aside to cool. Now onto the milk portion. In a bowl, I'm going to be adding in 2 eggs and I'm going to beat them first. Then I'm going to add in 1 can of evaporated milk, 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, and 1 can of coconut milk. Milk, not cream. And then I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, a dash of nutmeg, and a dash of sweet cloves. And I'm going to give this a really good mix to combine all of these ingredients together. Next, I'm going to mix in half a cup of brown sugar. Give this a really good mix and onto the bread. I'm going to be using a full loaf of sweet Hawaiian sliced bread. I found this at Target, and I'm going to allow this to become stale for a week and a half before I actually use it. Stale bread is best bread for bread pudding. I'm going to dice up the full loaf of bread, and I'm going to add all of these pieces into my milk mix. Give this a really good toss, combine all of these together, and then set it aside for 30 minutes so that our bread can absorb all of these flavors. Make sure you preheat your oven to 350 degrees. We want a hot and ready oven when our bread pudding is ready to bake. When the half-hour mark is up, we are going to be blending half of the bread pudding mix. This is when it becomes Dominican Pudin de Pan. We're going to be blending half of the mix, and we're going to be pouring this into the loaf pan with the now hardened caramel. I'm going to be adding in just a couple of raisins. This is completely up to preference. Then I'm going to add in the remaining half of bread pudding that has the cubed pieces of bread still intact. I love the contrast of textures, and everyone else seems to love it too. Then I'm going to add in the blended mix of bread pudding right over the top of that, and this is going to bake in a water bath. So add a larger pan into the oven and place your loaf pan into it. Fill it up halfway with water, and this is going to bake for 1 hour and 40 minutes at 350 degrees. At the end of that time, look at our beautiful bread pudding. This is going to go straight into the refrigerator either overnight or for at least 4 to 5 hours to allow it to set. The next morning or 4 to 5 hours later, allow your pudin de pan to sit on the counter for 30 minutes to come to room temperature. It's going to be much easier to flip if you allow it some time on the counter. Then run a knife all around the edges of the pudin de pan to aid with releasing. Then you're going to place a larger plate right over your pudin de pan and you're going to flip it over. When you see the caramel drip towards the bottom, that means it's ready to release. Pull the pan up gently and look at your beautiful pudin de pan. When you cut into it, you're going to see the difference in textures. This makes such a big difference. You and your crowd are going to love it. You will never go back to arepa style pudin de pan. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, cousin.